As the global markets continues their relentless decline at the back of multiple doom and gloom narratives, ranging from a Russia-Ukraine conflict, worsening Sino-US relationship, and slowing global economic growth, one can't help but to wonder, when will the market stop falling and start recovering? Now in this video, I will share with you my opinion on when we will witness a recovery in the global markets, or at least stop experiencing a fall in the prices of our investments. Without further ado, let's get started. What's causing the current market decline? Now, to understand what is needed for the market to recover, you have to first understand what is causing the market to decline. Now, the main cause of the ongoing bear market can be attributed to a single word: inflation. Now, I'm sure all of us will have a good understanding of what inflation is after experiencing its effects firsthand via the increase of our day-to-day expenses. But some of you may ask, what does inflation have to do with what we are experiencing in the stock market? Right? You see, inflation by itself is not really a problem. It is what comes as a result of inflation that is the problem. Now, as prices continue to increase, price stability will continue to decrease, and as a result, everyday folks like you and I will start to become very unhappy with what's going on, and this may result in unwanted social unrest, as we've seen in countries that are worse hit by inflation. To combat the increase in the dissatisfaction over the higher prices, central banks all over the world have no choice but to step in to restore price stability and lower inflation. The very intervention by these central bankers and government is what is causing the market to go for a skydive, as the tools that they employ to reduce inflation will inevitably result in a slowdown in economic activity and thereby lowering business profitability. That is why large day movements in the market are often associated with news pertaining to the CPI or inflation data, or news that directly or indirectly affects inflation expectations. What's needed for the market to stop falling? Now that we've understood what's causing the market to fall, let us explore the conditions necessary for the market to stop falling and start recovering. Firstly, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine has to come to a stop, or at least come to a point whereby the impact of the conflict stops spilling over to the global economy via higher food and oil prices, as these two countries account for a large fraction of global trade for things like oil, natural gas, fertilizers, and wheat. As long as the conflict continues, the production and the transportation of these essential goods will be affected, and global food and energy prices will remain elevated, which is not ideal for any government that is trying to lower inflation. Secondly, China has to wake up their idea with their /COVID-0 policy, as it is resulting in massive disruptions within the country that accounts for a quarter of global manufacturing. Now, not only does this regular lockdown affect its domestic economy, it is also affecting the country's ability to produce and export its goods to the rest of the world. And this is causing an increase in the lead time, higher costs, and all that good stuff that contributes to higher prices. Lastly, global recessionary fears will have to ease, because like it or not, the economy works based on the self-fulfilling prophecy principle. As long as people remain fearful about the possibility of an impending recession, they are likely going to cut down on their spending and investments, which will inevitably result in slower economic activity that may very well spark an actual recession itself. Now, looking at the unemployment and consumption data, I would say that the economy is doing just fine despite being in a technical recession at the moment. That said, as mentioned earlier, the bulk of the recessionary fear is caused by non-desirable consequences of central banks' fight against inflation. Long story short, as long as inflation expectations can come down within reasonable limits, it is likely that the market will stop dropping and potentially recover depending on the fundamental situation then. What's next for the markets? Looking at what's going on with the world today, I believe that the markets will remain depressed for the next 12 to 24 months, as investor sentiment remains depressed at least until the problem of inflation is addressed. Now, even after the inflation had came down to reasonable limits, a strong narrative is required to push the markets back to its bullish trajectory, as a shift in investment sentiment is necessary for stock prices to go up. As such, based on the information available at the moment, I reckon that the market will continue its decline, or at least trade sideways over the next 12 to 24 months, before investor sentiment improves for the better and things goes back to normal. Of course, this is assuming that the Federal Reserve do not force us from a recession to a depression. Now only time will tell. That said, the best time to invest is when people are expecting for the worst in the future, and it is easy to be a contrarian except for when it is profitable. If you don't know how to get started with your investments, or if you do not have the time to manage your investments, you can check out what I do on my website to see how you can benefit from my investment planning services and reach out to me directly. Subscribe to this channel or follow me on Instagram or Telegram to receive a 1-minute daily market update and stay updated with the regular uploads. Stay safe and I hope to hear from you soon.